Okay, we're back online now. Yay! Woo! Sorry about that, guys. I have no idea why it's Woking now. My mother was born in Woking. Um, okay. Well, let's go back to square one, as they used to say in football commentaries. It's a long story. Hi, Sean. How you doing? Hey, Crazy Lodge. Hey, progress. Yeah, you'd think it was progress. I feel like I'm in like in the 1980s with how inane and inept I am sometimes with computers. It worked perfectly the last couple of times. Anyway, so to recap, um, today I have today I am having manfully carrying on with the Star Wars TIE Fighter that I started doing 2 months ago. 2 months ago, and I did nothing. Hi Joe, hi George, how you doing? Was someone on the phone? Yeah. Do you know, I remember those days of the internet and someone being on the phone. Back in the office I used to work in, there was like four of us had email accounts. And you always had to check that no one else was using the line before you logged into it, because it would crash the line if more than one person attempted a login at once. Um, Yay! Oh, cool, cool, cool. No, Force was not with me. I know it wasn't. The Force is weak in this one. Um, yeah. So I started this 2 months ago, made absolutely no progress on it, and I was thinking, do you know what? I've got to do something else. But then someone said, why not just do it anyway? Because it's like an ironic prop. It might be done by next year, maybe. Who knows? Next Star Wars Day. Anyway, I hope you're all doing very well. I hope things are good for you. You've been enjoying the lovely weather we've had here. If indeed you're in the UK, of course, if you're elsewhere, the weather might be, or who knows. I know in Southern Europe it's appalling. It has been appalling. Um, I have been working on a few things. I've been doing a build kit of the week in 4 weeks' time. Um, I've been doing the build of that. I've done the box opening already. I've recorded the box opening. Um, I've have about halfway through the build. I need to do the history video. Um, Thank you, Joe. I enjoyed the boomerang, and it's doing really well. That video is doing very, very well. Actually, it was. Touch wood. It was doing very well earlier on, anyway. Um, yeah. So that runs for like the last week of June. The week before that, there's one. I've done everything for that one. Hi, Jim. We have moments. We do have moments. We have electrons creating moments randomly. It's it's the random nature of existence in the universe, I think myself. Uh, oh, George, about the Lancaster. Lancaster, that's a lovely kit. That Lancaster. Yes, so I've done the third week of June. Um, I've done most of the second week of June, apart from the history video. I've got next week to do. I've got 1 day of building done. Most of the second day of build. No, that's a lie. About half of the second day of building done. I haven't done anything historical yet, but I will be doing something. And it's also going to be a bit of a different thing towards the end of the week. All of this, of course, because from on the 14th of June I'm off for 10 days, so I need to get some videos in the bag to make sure there's something for you all to watch while I'm sunning myself in Albania for 10 days. I think I've deserved it, really. So, yes, that's what I've been up to. Building those. Indeed so. Indeed so, Crazy Loacher. You don't want your TIE fighter to get rusty. What else has been happening? Okay, I've got a couple of new airbrushes to review as well, so that's coming up soon. They're made by the same guys who made this gallery. I did the video about that recently. They've sent me another one of like this, but with a trigger, and another one that's I think it's got a different diffuser at the front or atomizer structure and things like that. But anyway, whatever. I'll be having a look at those soon. Oh, Dane, what will I do with the Shinden? Do you know what? That's been... It hasn't been causing me problems. It's only causing me a problem because I want to do that as soon as I can. As I say, I've got June dealt with because I'm going away. After that, I think, oh no, I should do that, but then I really have to do that, and then maybe that I need to do. But the Shinden is really high on my priority list because it's a plane I really want to make, and yeah, I want to make it. I'm going to make it because it's a really interesting plane. You know, this whole canard rear engine pusher prop canard thing. It's really amazing, and from what I understand, surprisingly good for relatively novice pilots to use. Which, of course, by that stage in the war, Japan had quite a lot of novice pilots. Anyway. So yeah, that's the plans. There's a lot of stuff. That's coming, and I know there's also a 1/72nd scale OV10 Bronco on its way from ICM, which is really nice of them to send me that. And they, in a few weeks' time, actually on June 15th, they're sending out a 1/35th scale AH1 Cobra. Now, if you watch my videos on the links, the 1/48th scale airfix links, you'll know that I'm not a massive fan of helicopters. But as they offered it, I thought, rude not to. Maybe it will reignite my enjoyment. It's a cool kit. The you know, it's got like the exposed engine bays and all this sort of stuff. It's amazing options for it. So yeah, maybe that will like get me back on track. And then there's a vehicle they're sending over as well, and they're sending paints. They're being so generous. The funny thing is that, not funny thing, the impressive thing is that these guys, obviously, they're in the middle of a war right now, okay, but the postal service there keeps sending me updates where my package is, where it is. You know, it's now in customs, it's now cleared customs, it's now onto this, it's now that, and then it's going to be handed out, and eventually it'll be handed over to Royal Mail when it arrives at Heathrow. In the middle of a war, they are doing absolutely amazing. They're doing as good at delivering stuff as Royal Mail are when we're not at war. But you know, more power to them. I think they're amazing, and they're also amazing that they're offering me this stuff. So thank you very much to ICM. What else is happening? I've got some other kind of videos sort of planned. Do you know what? There's so many things I really want to do, and I want to do a lot of different types of videos and a lot of things about different subjects and a lot of different types of modelling, but I don't want to give up doing what I know best, which is making aeroplanes. But I've got so much now of things that I need to do. I need to do more vehicles. I've got some armour to build, by the way. I know a lot of people have been nagging at me, but Nick sent me a BT7 tank, and I'm going to have to do that because he also sent me some modelling dioramas materials and stuff like that. You know, so I kind of feel duty bound to do that, and I've got a ship to do. I keep saying I'm going to do. Now I've got a lot of water effects that I can do. I've been watching videos to do that, but also I want to do different things. There's a couple of interviews I want to do. There's a couple of reviews I want to do. So I just want to start mixing stuff up. Now, if you've got stuff that you really think you know, you really should maybe look at doing this, then let me know. And if I think I'm competent enough to do it, yeah, why not? I'll give most things a go. Jim, hi in Chicago, by the way. Yeah, Jim, I know the live streaming thing says under April 6th because there was a technical issue at the head of the show, and I rescheduled a new stream and started broadcasting, and it just picked up the default thing, which was the an old one. So yeah, sorry. Um, da, da, da. George, why do I say Imperial thumbs up? I always give it the Imperial thumbs up. Um, because I don't know. It's just a thing that came out. I just give it a thumbs up on the like button normally, and then I just thought, why not? Um, why not just maybe do something a bit different? You know, the sort of. It's not. It's. I remember this from QI years ago. It's not actually turning a thumbs up. It's turning a thumb in Latin. I think the thumb was held like that, and whether it was up or down, that's the. I don't know. There's something to do it anyway. Um, I just for fun, you know. It's like emperors, you know, give it a thumbs up so this video will live. If you give it a thumbs down, this video will die, and those videos about to die, salute you Caesar, and all that sort of stuff. Just and it's a gimmick. You know what? People enjoy. Even Dale at Airfix has used it. So it's just. Do you know? I guess there are just so many people doing YouTube videos, and so many people doing really cool YouTube videos. I have to say that you know you just think you just need a bit of a difference, just a bit of a hook, bit of a tag, bit of a. I don't know. I don't want to say catchphrase, but maybe it is a catchphrase. I don't know. Who knows? Yes, Simon. Imperial is the old measurement system. In America, it's the measurement system a lot of the time. So there we go. What are my thoughts on the release info? I haven't seen much release info. I've seen a lot of preview photos of the Armour Hobby Hurricane, and do you know what? I think they've used an awful lot of 3D print or first shots because some of it don't look that good. Some of it looks really amazing, the surface finishes and whatever. But yeah, some of it, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Have I finished the Jeep yet? No, Jim, I haven't. It's one of those things that is going along slowly, but it is going along. When I have, I'm going to try and get like a few weeks ahead of myself. Not just even once I come back from holiday. I still want to get a few weeks ahead of myself, mainly because it gives you like flexibility if anything happens, you know. But also because then it gives me time to do other things as well, and I really need to. There's so much stuff I've got backlogged that I want to do, but I'm going to program a few things like a 2-week build of a vehicle and a diorama scene for it. Things like I'm doing a bit more of that as well. So I don't know. Yeah, David, I know there was an issue. It's an issue, technical issue. But there we go. Rebitube, it's a catchphrase. Whatever. As I say, it's just something you got to try, haven't you? You got to try doing something. That's just my thing, you know, for good or bad. Do you know, there's not enough stuff on it. Maybe we need to do a bit of dry brushing. Woohoo! Dry brushing. Oh, I saw someone went and joined the Bunny Fighter Club. That's grand. Someone else said that they've just got the airfix Anson. There's a lot of aftermarket on the Edwards site now about aftermarket for the airfix Anson, one of which is a 3D printed engine which looks insane. It looks so good. I am I'm just really, really desperately waiting for Airfix to bring out the Anson again so I can justify buying another one and building it, because I love the kit so much. One of the guys at the model society I go to at Harrow is really into LEDs and those tiny things, and does controls. Blah, blah, blah. You know, from my computer abilities, my knowledge of electronics is fairly minimal. But he says he's going to help me put lights into it, because I really want to put lights into an Anson. If I can do that with some of the aftermarket that's around, like the there's a set for flaps and stuff like that, then and also the interior, getting rid of the terrible radio set, then yeah, I might do that maybe next year. I'll sort of slowly gather the parts together and do like a 2 or 3 week sort of, not expert build, but a really big build, you know, things like that. What's going on? Do I fancy the Trumpeter 132nd Lightning? Yeah, it's like what, 2.5 feet long or something, isn't it? I'm sure it's actually, I'm sure it's a nice kit, because they do nice stuff, but that's going to be big. I don't exactly know where that's going to be going. Beer of the week, by the way, is Proper Job from St Austell Brewery. They did do a stout called Proper Black, which was divine, and I haven't seen it for ages, but still really like this. So cheers, all of you, your very good health. Jim, I know I've been talking to them about ferry battles, the Halifax and the Hampden, for some time. Now, one of them is coming out next year, I think, but I don't know which one. But from one or two things that Dale has said during streams and stuff like that, I suspect one of those 3 is coming out next year. Which one it is, I don't know yet, but anyway, we'll see. Graham, thank you. I try to be as welcoming and helpful as possible on my builds. I'm under no illusion that I am another Plasmo or anything like that. I'm not. Never will be. But I like what I do. I hope other people do, and I try to get people to understand, and not to worry about what other people think. Just do what you're happy with. If you're happy with it, you put it on a shelf, and someone says, "Oh, did you make that?" And you say, "Yeah, actually, I did." To me, that's grand. That's grand. Oh, Mark, you're not feeling well, my dear boy. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Look, get yourself better very soon, because remember, we need to meet up at some point in the very near future and listen to your jokes and watch some aeroplanes or something. Yeah, so take very good care. Sure, yeah, I'd love to see Halifax. Yeah, a new 72nd Halifax would be brilliant. A new Hampden would be brilliant, especially if I can do that in 48, because twin engine, it's bigger. It's, yeah, I don't know whether they'll do that in 48th, 72nd, but a battle is perfect for 48th, I reckon, anyway. Okay, dudes, drink one for me. Yeah, I know, Crazy Lochi, you can't when you're driving, and quite rightly, you can't when you're driving. What am I talking about? Of course you can't be drinking when you're driving. But I'm really impressed that you can even listen to it, which is really cool. It's really nice. It's kind of fun sometimes that people are like all over the place, Simon, I don't try and avoid building ships at all. It's just that I'm not terribly experienced at building ships. I have got an HMS Devonshire. Oh, sorry. So let me do that. There we go. I have got an HMS Devonshire that I am going to build. I've got a resin set for it. Let me get this out of the way for you. A resin set, and I'm going to get some photo etch for it. It's not that I don't like ships, I like ships. I have built my dad's first carrier, HMS Triumph, in 1/400th scale. That was the old Hele kit of the Aerobatics, because that was a Colossus class aircraft carrier, and so was my dad's ship, HMS Triumph, and the photo etch set that came for that actually had the nameplates for all of the Colossus class as well, so I could put the nameplate on. It's maybe something I would look at doing again, only because I built it 4 years ago. It's only like a year back into the whole thing of making kits and doing stuff. I don't think I did it justice, and maybe I need to revisit it. Unless, of course, someone does an HMS Eagle, which was the next ship he went on with the Squadron. In which case I would do that, because he hasn't got an Eagle. And yeah, maybe. There's nothing wrong with doing it. It's just they take me so, and also I don't know. I've got to learn how to do water effects. Something. Dane, night. Good to see you, my friend. Do take very good care. By the way, Dane, I should point out, put me onto this stuff. He sent me this tube of AK Crystal Magic glue. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Absolutely amazing for doing transparencies and stuff. Mainly because needle applicator. Absolutely amazing. That has helped me so much so far. Do the videos do well for me? The Beagle Basset was okay. The Boomerang seems to be doing quite well. The SM79 was bonkers. I think last time I looked it was something over 45,000 views, which for me is a lot of views. So that's why I thought I'd do another couple of vintage classics. The Beagle Basset, not anywhere near as good, but the Boomerang has been doing very well so far. Fingers crossed. So we'll see how that goes. But generally speaking, I think they're good. They're good kits. I think a lot of people want to see how they go because they think you buy them. I mean, I've got more ordered. I've got the Bond Bug ordered. I've got the Fairy Rotodyne, which I've been wanting to build for like, I don't know, 50 years or so. I finally got one of those on order. I've got the Bloodhounds on order, and a few other bits and pieces. So I do like vintage classics, but you know, we'll see how they go. There's a lot of nostalgia about them. There's a lot of new people looking at them thinking, you know, they're really old kits, but the decals are nice and they're cheap, you know, by comparison. So yeah, I think they're good. Eagle and Victorious were sister ships. Indeed, I don't think Eagle had that massive 3D radar on the top that Victorious did, but there might be some conversions, in which case I need to get someone to make me some Supermarine attackers and things like that, to suit the age of Dad's cruise on it. He was with 800 when they made their first cruise up to Norway with the Supermarine attacker. They were the first unit to have them. For those of you unfamiliar with it, the Supermarine attacker was a single engine jet fighter, it had the remarkable design feature of having a tail wheel, which on a jet, as you can imagine, was quite a challenge on deck. But, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It was okay. It got the Navy understanding how to use jets a lot better, and it paved the way for other aircraft, which were, I think, 800 went from, after Dad had left, 800 went on to the Seahawk next, which was a thing of absolute beauty. So, right, Paul. Yeah, the Devonshire. As I say, I have got a lot of extra stuff for it. I was when we went to airfix last year or something, last summer maybe. That's one of the kits they gave us in a goodie bag. So it's I kind of feel I have to build it anyway because it's a gift as well. But it was a vintage classics release of a warship, so it has its issues, and I kind of wanted to do one that was more accurate. So as I say, I've got the resin set for it. I need to get the photo etch set, and then that could look really cool. Actually, it could look really good, especially if I can figure out how to do the water effects properly. I think it's going to look amazing. Yeah, if it's vintage classic sailing ship. Yeah, they're releasing the SS. Is it SS Great Britain? I think that's got vacuum sails, which would be interesting. I haven't got one on order. I hasten to add. But yeah, it would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Really. What am I up to? Again, I keep looking up there, and I'm not looking at my instructions. I was doing something earlier today. I'm going to tell you what, 'cause it's kit of the week in a few weeks' time. But I was doing it, and it's just like one of these really annoying instructions you kind of expect. Like on these, you start up here, and then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, yeah. But it's just like one sheet of bits of instructions, and up here it's like, well, join these things together, and yeah, okay. And then down here, there's a little thing with an arrow pointing up there, saying, oh, by the way, before you do all that, you might want to do this. Fortunately, it was only drilling some holes for a panel. But it's like, dudes, could you not have said that right at the top of the page? If you're going to do this first. Ugh. Rubbish, absolute rubbish. Type 22. What a lovely class of ship. A very elegant class of 22s, I seem to remember. Yeah, good looking ships. Yeah, I don't know what. I can't think of having seen Airfix do a 22 before at all. Maybe they just lost interest in ships at the stage when they should have been doing that. I don't know. Let me see. Right, I'm determined to actually do something on this model, by the way. The egg kits. Yeah, I love egg kits. Jake, I love them. They're fun. They're, there's times, I try and pretty much build one of the kit a week, roughly. And, it's, every now and again, you just need something to, everyone says, you lose your mojo, so I'm looking for something in my paint drawer. Oh yes, I have a paint drawer. For all the stuff that won't go in my paint rack, don't you know? Yeah, there's something you think, oh God, do I really want to be doing that? Should I be doing this? And then suddenly you think, build an egg kit, and it's amazing fun. They look cool. They don't take long to do. And it just really sort of reminds you that this hobby isn't always about scale and accuracy and for a better want of a better phrase, rivet counting. It is actually supposed to be fun for most of us. That's the idea, anyway. So I find egg kits. Yeah, there's an egg kit. Well, there's a couple of groups on Facebook. There's one, and they got some amazing egg kits. Absolutely amazing stuff in eggs that are really hilarious. And I kind of think, actually, I'd like to do more of these. But then, actually, you know what I'm going to? I'm going to do more of them. There we go. Said it. What am I working on right at the moment? If you mean right now, Ollie, what I'm working on is this Star Wars TIE Fighter, Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. We started it 2 months ago on the live chat. I have done Darth Vader. Yeah, it won't focus on that. And one of the bits of something here, yeah. And I generally tend to get a bit sidetracked, so I'll just keep going. If you mean what kit am I working on my bench, then I'm afraid you have to wait until Monday Matters to find out. Sorry, because that's the way I do things. Rebitib, oh, the Duracaster, really? That's amazing. We go to Albania every year for a holiday, and we used to go to Saranda down in the south, and they used to have day trips, you know, a coach trip to Duracaster. We never did, or get the bus. We never did it. I can remember they have the shooting star there, but also at Tirana Airport, the main airport in Albania, they have, as you're taxiing away from the terminal, you can see a load of MiGs. Oh, and an Illusion 28 as well. I don't know what they're doing there, but Adam, yes, I know it's a nice, easy build, but it's kind of I get distracted very easily. I'm sorry to say, maybe I'm in the wrong profession to do it, but I do get distracted easily. So I kind of try and do stuff, and it is a nice, easy build, and it's nice to do. It's one of those things you can do and chat at the same time. The only thing is, of course, I need to look up and see all my messages from my lovely people while I'm doing that. Thank you, Mark. I do enjoy making them, so I'm glad people like my broadcasts. It's the Great Western, David. Yeah, it is in 1/180th. I mean, that's a fair size. It really is a fair size. I don't know. It's just, as I say, I've got like that lot to build. You know, with the perspective and the lens, it probably don't look much. There's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's about 30-ish things up there that I have to. I'm building. All of that's got to be built. So, yeah. So I've got to be really selective about what I build, and also, I really do want to say that I'm actually bowled over by how generous a lot of you guys are in so many ways. How many kits I've ended up with labels on them saying, this person bought you this, and I keep thinking, oh god, I've got to get that in the schedule because they bought it for me, and I don't want it, you know, I don't want, if you have sent me something, I promise you I will build it. That's the deal. If you send me a kit to build, I will build it. I can't promise it's going to be the week after this or the week after that, whatever, but I will, absolutely will build everything I'm sent. Now, I'm aware that might get me into some sort of need of some sort of Doctor Who time loop paradoxy yada 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 to actually do it, but I will. I promise you, if I'm sent something, I will build it. for the channel. I mean, not just I'll build it. I'll build it for the channel and do a video of it. This probably is a bit dirtier than Darth Vader would have liked, but yeah, it's my kit. I do what I like. Oh, 172nd comment. If they did a vintage classic, see the vintage classics are things that they have actually already released. If they've done a comet, I'm guessing it's probably in 144th. In which case, yes, they should redo it. I would love them to. I'd like to see them redo the Nimrod. I like to see them do a new Nimrod, but they ain't going to do one. But yeah, a comet would be nice. Richard, yeah, modelling keeps me sane as well, and of course that is the whole point behind Models for Heroes. By the way, if you haven't come across them, don't know much about them, please do check out Models for Heroes online. They do amazing work helping people who have mental health issues as a result of their service, either in the armed forces or as a first responder like police, ambulance crews, firefighters and so on. And they kind of use modelling as a distraction activity, but also as a bringing people to create something and achieve something, and that creative process is very, very therapeutic as well. So yeah, check them out if you haven't done so far, and if you aren't a member of the Airfix Club, or if you are and you don't use your flying hours, please send it to them, because they convert them, and Airfix actually do a really good deal with them, I should say, and they get kits as a result of that. There's all sorts of other ways you can gift them if you want to, but do check them out because they're brilliant, brilliant guys. Am I going to the Cosford Airshow? No, I'm not, Jake. I'm sorry, I'm not. The only time I'm going to be anywhere near Cosford will be in November, when I'll be going to the Telford show, obviously. This year I will hope to go to visit RAF Cosford and the museum afterwards, but I'll have to see what I can do. Now, I've heard a lot of people really don't like that F-80C, by the way. Yeah. Airbrushing with lacquer paints is so much easier than acrylics. I've heard this, but then it's things like the air extraction and stuff like that. I'm looking into doing that later this year because I'm quite keen to try out Outlaw Paints, the new Australian guys who have got distribution over here now. Their colour ranges are amazing, so I should really maybe look into that myself. AK 3rd Gen, I've got some AK 3rd Gen, Richard, as well. Actually, I got, for fans of the MiG I haven't yet completed, sorry, but I am working on it. I got the AK set of Soviet stuff, like the interior emerald and the radome colours and stuff like that. So brilliant. Airfix did Stingray and Fireball XL5. I will ask about the moulds. It depends who actually owns them. It depends on when they made the moulds and the assets of the company as it was then, because you know the Airfix we have today has been through so many changes in ownership, and therefore the moulds have changed hands and things like that. Plus, the license for them may have expired as well. So I know you can get the all the Thunderbirds stuff. In my local hobbycraft has got them, and I'm so tempted, but so expensive, and I don't think that my dear wife would be that impressed. I can swing most things in terms of yes, I'm getting this plane because, or this guy sent me this because, but I think Thunderbirds she probably, and quite rightly, see it as too much of a self-indulgent thing. But I would love to build a set of Thunderbirds. Hey ho, Richard. Yeah, these paints I've actually been brush painting, but I know people like with AK and with Vallejo as well. You really need to use their thinners, their own brand thinners, because, well, maybe not necessarily their own brand thinners, maybe their thinners are very, very similar because of the extra chemicals they put in. I think Humbrol are one of the few types of acrylics that you can just, because they're a pure acrylic, you can just water them, use water as your thinner. I think most others, not all, but most others have other gunk in the acrylic mix, and so just pure water just doesn't quite do it. Adam, Fireflash. Yeah, well, these guys I was telling you about who do the Thunderbirds, they do a Fireflash, and they do a Fireflash with the 4 remote control buggies. You remember that Virgil was driving? Yeah, do you remember that one? Yeah, you remember that? Series 1, Episode 1? Yeah. It comes with those. Absolutely fantastic. Fireball XL5. Oh, I've got a whole set of DVDs. DVDs? Yeah, DVDs, not Blu-rays, DVDs of Fireball XL5. Love it. Absolutely love them. Yeah, the molds. Sometimes even when they have the molds, they actually don't have the rights to use to create stuff with them, as it were. It's a constant thing, and also sometimes the molds. Yes, they've got the molds, but they may actually not be good enough to actually reuse, and it might be too expensive to repair them. They do a bit of repair on some of these molds, but they don't routinely just think, that's we're going to release that no matter what the original's like. We will repair it, because sometimes the repair costs are so high that it just is completely untenable. Excuse me, I desperately need a. Oh dear. There we go. Oh, Scale Extra got a Fab 1. Oh, well, who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. Yeah. I mean, I keep in touch and ask. They're very tight-lipped. It's a commercial organisation. Why should I be surprised? They're very tight-lipped. Of course they are, and they should be. But every now and again they accidentally say something. So, for example, with the Battle of France era planes and the Halifax, I keep nagging them about. At the end of one interview I did earlier in the year, Dale said, "Oh, you'll be happy with one of the things we're releasing next year." So, geez, which of the 3 is it? And also, during the same interview, he said that he does occasionally let things slip. So, if you see an interview with Dale and the team, like at any point, it's well worth watching it and watching it again, just in case. I'm really listening, just in case he accidentally slips something he shouldn't do, because he has done it before, and a lot of the time no one's noticed apparently. So I'm on kind of a mission to do that in the future. I could have a whip round for repairs. Yeah. I can't remember how much it was now, but Chris, the guy who did the Spitfire, the 124 Spitfire, did say about that, something about how much it actually costs end to end for a project. I don't know if it's £500,000 or £300,000, something of that order. Yeah, so have a whip round, and then go to Dale and his buddies at Margate and say, "Here we go. Here's the money on the table. Will you please make us something like that?" And they probably will. They probably will. the Saturn V. I remember building the Saturn V, the airfix one. Probably when they were actually flying back in the late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, Westland Wasp. Yeah, do you know they really, I think, need to up their game on some of these more historic helicopters, more important helicopters, and actually more modern helicopters as well, because you know they've got the Lynx, and you know I was doing the history segment on the Lynx, and thinking, do you know what, that went out of service quite a long time ago now, and here we are still flogging this kit of it. Surely it should be that you have something a bit more contemporary. You know, they've got. There used to be this thing that they don't like to do things that are actually in service. Well, that's out the window. They do the F-35, that new starter kit of the F-35. They've got a Eurofighter. It's an appalling kit, very old kit, but they do have a Eurofighter. So, you know, they're not averse to doing some of these things sometimes. It just requires them to actually do it, really, ultimately. So, yeah, it'd be nice to have more historical things. Again, I'm not a great fan of helicopters myself, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. What else has been going on? What else has been going on? Yeah, I've got 3 kits coming over from ICM, which is really nice at the moment, and paints, which is really cool. They've been very, very nice recently. ICM, very helpful, very generous, and very nice. I will be going to be doing some more different stuff as well. I'm continuing to do all my builds, obviously, but I'm going to be doing other stuff as well, so more sort of slightly more documentary stuff, maybe some interview work, bits and pieces like that, just to sort of make sure there's a bit of variety on the channel, because you know the channel has to grow, but I'm not anytime as thinking, yeah, the channel's got to grow, I'm not going to do that anymore, I'm going to do this, that's just not how I am, because A, because I really like making model kits anyway, and B, because that's where my core activity is. However, I know people are interested in other things as well, so yeah, it's cool. Richard, the 111, 17 and Junkers 88, yeah, I was kind of hoping they were going to send me the 111, the new 48th 111, you know, with the paraffin, with the balloon cable cutter at the front, but I think I was just a little too late getting on the review panel, as it were, the review list for that. So what they do, these amazing people, is they send me an email and say, "Hi Gary, this is what we're releasing next month." I say, "Okay, cool," and I have a look, and then they think, they say to me, "Well, what do you want to review?" Okay, well, can I have one of those models? Yeah, sure. Do you want the paints? Yeah, grand, thank you. And they send them. It's amazing. They're really nice people. Whether it's because, you know, I've always been very pro helping out Ukraine through modelling or what, I don't know. I like the kits of theirs I've made anyway recently. So, yeah, that's really nice. They've been really, really, really generous recently. Hi Dean, how you doing, bud? Richard, some history of the actual planes you build would be nice. What, so like say, if I was doing a Spitfire 47, sorry, Seafire 47, and it was VP 471, a history of that exact aircraft, or a history of the C547, because I already do that. But do you mean like a history of the actual aircraft in the kit, to see, you know, where it flew, who flew it, when it was disposed of or shot down or whatever? That's a good option. That's a good, interesting idea. The only thing I would say about that is that the history videos actually take me an enormous amount of time to research, but I enjoy doing them. Again, I enjoy finding archive and stuff like that, but they do take an awful lot of work. They do a lot of work, so I'm kind of loath to add more work to myself. But then, you know what, if people like it and people watch it, then yeah, sure, maybe I'll do it. Okay, let me think about it, Richard. I won't say for sure yes or no yet. It might be on a case-by-case basis. I mean, I've got one build in the future where there was only one. So, and sometimes it may not be possible to track too much information about a particular aircraft, maybe like beyond what the manufacturer has put in the information sheet. But you know what, I'll look into doing it, and if it's something really interesting about that particular aircraft, then it's good. I know certainly. I keep saying I know airfix do this only because I talk to them a lot and I know how they do things. But I know they try to do decals of significant aircraft. So if they're doing, say, doing when they're next to the Anson, they'll have 3 different Ansons, and there'll be probably at least one would be very, very specific why they've done it. The other 2, they probably will have some, maybe it's in a museum somewhere, so there will be some details about it, things like that. So maybe it's not too difficult to find that sort of thing, but I will try. I'll look into it and I'll see if it doesn't add too much crazy amounts of work. It could be a nice thing to do, actually. Good idea. My opinion on the Harriers being retired in 2010, I think it was an appalling decision for so many different reasons. But do you know what? I over my 6 decades, I've seen a lot of really, really, really stupid decisions when it comes to the defence of the realm. Getting rid of the Harriers early was one of the dumbest ones, because I thought it was lovely that we launched HMS Queen Elizabeth, this wonderful new aircraft carrier with only helicopters. It could have been upgraded. It could have continued. You know, the one that Spanish fly at the moment, the one that the Spanish Navy has, is a really nice upgrade with a really serious radar suite on it. Obviously, it's not stealthy, but then, you know, they'd be being retired now with the F-35 coming in, but then we'd have had a proper aircraft to whiz away with in the meantime. But that's just me. Have I built a special hobby Blackburn skewer? If you mean the 1/72nd scale, I have built 3 of them, but before I started doing YouTube videos, so I have done 3. I would be tempted by maybe looking at a 1/48th one, because that'd be lovely, but I have done the Blackburn skewer because they were in 800 Squadron, and that was my dad's squadron, and I've built one of everything from his squadron that they ever had in 1/72nd. So yeah, I have built them, and they're good. Trying to remember what what I didn't like the gun mounting terribly much. That wasn't very well explained and well designed, I don't think. But otherwise, it was okay. It's actually quite good, quite a nice little kit actually. It's good. You can add some really nice stuff to it as well. You can like put the bomb on the the thing that swings down to drop the bomb clear of the screw, things like that. So yeah, it's cool. Um, okay, cool. The S2B is oh yeah, the S2B is coming out later this year, and the Gannet. Yeah, dude, I've got the Gannet on order. Already. Rubbertube, lovely to have you along, my friend. Good to see you. Do take care. Thanks for dropping in. Hey Peter, how you doing, fellow, from all the way over there in Canada? Excellent. Have I built any Japanese aircraft, Jake? I have obviously built the Zero, and that's pretty much it. I do have the Edward Profi pack of a Zero to build, and thanks to Dane Stewart, I have the Kyushu Shinden to build as well. I haven't built any Japanese ships. Yeah. Yeah, Adam, all the kits related to your dad's survey. Well, here's the thing, Adam, if you go back to Christmas time on my thing, you'll see I did a thing called 12 Planes of Christmas. Now, each of those types had been operated by 800 Naval Air Squadron, and I did a history of them, and then looked at the kits you can make of them, and a couple of times all of them actually end with one of the ones I've built on a turntable shot at the end. So check those out. I'll be doing another set of those for next Christmas. I'll be doing another 12 Planes of Christmas. I don't think there's enough to do 12 more 800 Squadron aircraft, but maybe I'll do 800 Squadron and then do some of its sort of associates on the ships as well, maybe. I don't know, but I'll have a look. The old airfix Grumman Hellcat and decals for 800 Squadron, brilliant. It's yeah, the Hellcat, they had them. I've done three of those, the Edward ones in 1/72. One was from D-Day, one was just prior to D-Day, I did a wing fold on, and the other one was from 1945 when the squadron was in the Far East flying out of Trincomalee in Sri Lanka, and that was in the all over dark blue. Oh, it looks really cool actually, all over dark blue. Looks nice with the invasion stripes and all that. It looks grand, but the all over dark blue does look cool. Looks properly cool. Okay. Thank you, Peter. I hope you're doing good, man. I hope the weather's okay. It's really nice over here. Am I doing any Monogram 48 scale jets? Okay. The Cat Panther. Panther was actually the Revel one, but it's probably a Monogram originally. I can't remember the history of it. It was a Revel Panther kit, but it may well have. Actually, no, I don't know if it was, because it had Revel stamped on one of the parts. So it may actually have been one of their own. I don't know. But anyway, specifically any more Monogram 48 scale jets, I haven't at the moment, Jim. Again, a lot of the time I think, I'm going to do such and such a jet, and it will turn out to be a Monogram one, even though I've bought it from another company in the meantime. So I do need to go back to some of the histories, not specifically, but that there's a lot coming up. There's so many different things coming up, promise you. So I'll see what I can slide into the schedule. As I say, I've got like 30 odd kits to do. Some I really want to do, rather, and some I think, yeah, I really should do that, and then some I think, Yeah, why did I buy that? But I will make it. I've got to make everything. I have to make every single thing I bought up there for the channel. That's the whole point. Um, and yeah, Revel is a quality loss free. You know, sometimes it also depends on whether it's their own moulding or whether they've inherited it from somewhere else. And quite often they inherit them quite down the line, so the moulds are fairly weak when they begin with. But some of them are really beautiful. I mean, that the F-15E Strike Eagle they released year before last, I think it was, is absolutely lovely. That's a beautiful kit, really nice kit. Really enjoyed building that. Adam, you built all 3 V bombers in 5 days. That is amazing. I'm assuming that you don't actually need sleep at night, because that's an incredible effort. Well done. Well done, man. Put them onto my Facebook group. Join up the Gary's Friends Stuff Facebook group and post them up to show us. I'd love to see that. Wow. 5 days. 3 V bombers. Amazing. Right, what am I doing next? Okay, I need to find another part here, don't I? Okay, that goes on there, that goes on there. I need one of those, do I? Okay, don't know what that is. Okay. 12. Okay, 12. I need 12. Yeah, George, I've not heard very many good things about the vintage classic Bismarcks. To be honest, a lot of the vintage classic kits have their issues, which is why my Devonshire's got so much resin and soon photo etch for it to cure a lot of the things. Do you know, they're not probably bad kits for their age, but for modern things, I don't know. Yeah, but that, yeah, if you're up till 1 AM most nights, Adam, I guess, yeah, that's going to work for you. It's amazing. It's still a great effort, my friend. It's still an amazing effort to do that. The tack on Apache. Oh, what the new 135th Apaches? They look incredible. They do look good, my friend. I'm quite intimidated by the AH1 I'll be doing soon. AH1G, I think it is. But those Apaches look amazing. Absolutely amazing. The 2 sides of the bow were both at 90-degree angles to what they should be. That sounds like some pretty impressive model designing, to be honest, George. That sounds like a supreme talent is at work if they manage to do things that badly wrong. That's amazing. Yeah, I think I haven't built the Victor actually. That's, oh god, not something else to add to the list of things I haven't done yet. I haven't built the Victor from the V bombers. The Valiant I really liked. The new Vulcan I really liked. I haven't done the Victor yet though. I'm kind of conflicted with it only because I wish they'd have done the Victor with a full bomb load. I mean, 35 £1,000 bombs. That's some amount of bombs to build. I'd love to build one with that. But, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. You know, one of those things I've really fancied doing. You know how, you know, like I did my dad's Squadron and all the rest of it. You kind of think of a theme you might like to do. I've always wanted to do like air refueling aircraft, but actually like dangling from the ceiling models with the refueling probes and something with them. So like a Victor with a couple of F4s or a couple of Lightnings or something like that. I think just that would be just such a cool set of kits to make, because there are some really weird things that were converted to tanker use because they were frankly rubbish at anything else, or they just reached the end of their natural life as a service aircraft. But yeah, maybe a Victor refueling a Hercules as they did in the South Atlantic. That would be really cool, like on the toboggan run. So the Victor would be like Victor, the Hercules would be like very much going for it. Everything closed, or everything sleek as it possibly can be in a gentle dive, trying to catch up, and the Victor with like flaps and brakes and all this, trying to slow down enough not to run away with it. That would be really cool. There you go. He did it with a matchbox. Yeah, it's, there's so many things you can do. Like a KC-135Q with an SR-71, for example. It's an odd pairing, an odd thing. All sorts of things like that. Did we stop using the Lightning in the 80s? That's a very good question. I should know the answer to that. It was it 5 and 11 Squadron, I think, had the last ones. So it was close to, it was in the 80s. I think they actually officially were retired from the front line in late 88, 87, 88. But I think they were still operating into the early 90s, and then they were taken out of service completely, which was a real pity. There's one being, the Lightning used to be those guys down in Cape Town at Thunder City with Lightnings doing joyrides, and they had one of their planes crashed, and there was all sorts of issues about safety controls and stuff like that, and their license was revoked and whatever, and maybe even the place went bankrupt. So anyway, there's this bunch of guys in America now who have a two-seat Lightning. They currently run them up and down the runway. You can take a ride in a Lightning up and down the runway, but they are restoring it to flight. Now remember, in America there are very, very different ways of doing things in terms of safety regulation, which occasionally, I don't want to be disrespectful to the air safety guys here, because I think the air safety in the UK is among the best, if not the best, in the world. But every now and again they have rules, and they stick to these rules. And I do recall, like, some Lightnings were, trying to get them back to flying. And from what I remember, it may be apocryphal, I don't know, but from what I recall of the story, they had like a guy who was like chief engineer in the RAF for Lightnings, and the people of that level involved, and because they didn't have the relevant CAA licenses, they only had the service licenses. They weren't qualified to then deal with doing the right kind of servicing or something. Whereas in America, you can designate something as an experimental aircraft, and there are different ways and rules and regulations. I think it's a lot easier in America. It's still really expensive. Yeah, dude, I thought the guy did die. It was a horrific thing. From what I recall, again, trying to remember, my memory isn't what it used to be. But what I remember, there was some sort of problem with the servicing on the ejection seat as well. But like many of these things, there's a lot of complex issues that go together. Okay, I don't understand that at all. Oh, yes, I do. Sorry. Okay, right, fine. That's cool. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, on to step one. This is the third time I've done these, and I've been working on this kit. I've now reached step 5. Step 5. Isn't that good? They are very, very noisy things, David, but what a lovely noise. Oh, I see. Mike died in 2017, not in the accident. But there was one of his pilots did die, didn't they? Yeah, that's what I thought. One thing you definitely want to work properly is the old ejection seat, you know. Jimmy Martin and pals did a lot of damn good work on those things, and if they're not serviced properly, they ain't go right. But when they do work, my God, they're amazing pieces of kit. If you ever get to see a documentary about it, I'll visit the Martin Baker website and check out how they actually works, the sequencing systems and stuff like that are absolutely phenomenal. What they do now, getting the pilot into the right position, the best position, because yeah, you've got like sort of 20-25 G acceleration going through your back, you're going to get spinal injuries. But the way they try, the way they sort of get the the shoulders back, head back, feet in, and get the right posture before it chucks you out, and all of that in like a fraction of a second is absolutely amazing. So Adam, does anyone think the Vulcan? What do you mean if the Vulcans were still? The RAF should still be using them, but they're not stealthy, so they probably wouldn't survive very long these days, sadly. But my God, that's a lovely thing. Jake, did a Hawker Hunter fly under Tower Bridge? Yeah, it did indeed. It was the 50th anniversary of the founding of the RAF, and the pilot was sort of generally fed up that there wasn't any proper celebration of it, and so he was on a cross-country mission with other members of the squadron, peeled off, and then proceeded to fly around the Houses of Parliament a few times, and there was, quite by chance, a debate going on about aviation, I believe, at the time. And he then scooted up the Thames towards Tower Bridge and thought, over or under, go under, and so he did. Amazing piece of flying, but he was arrested as soon as he landed. There was a campaign in the newspapers to have him exonerated. It all went on for a very long time, and eventually I believe he was retired on medical grounds ultimately, but then I think not that long ago, I mean the guy's still alive, but not that long ago he got an official pardon, official exoneration for what he did, which is a big deal. But yeah, I mean, that's some piece of flying, and as you say, Richard, yeah, this year's release of the Hunter, I think it's the FGA 9, F6A FGA 9. The box art commemorates that, and one of the decal options is his plane. Can't remember the guy's name though, sadly. Someone can look it up, maybe, I don't know. But amazing. What a what a way to protest, and to think you might get away with it as well. It's quite astonishing, but quite an amazing piece of flying, because they don't hang around, and it isn't that big an area, you know. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, George, they are big, aren't they? When I were a space cadet, as we used to be called, rather disparaging, I was an air cadet. I was at school. We had a summer camp or Easter camp to RAF St Athan in Wales, which at the time, and this is late 70s, I'm guessing about 79, 79 or 1980, 79 maybe. It was a servicing base, and they serviced Vulcans there, and they had one in, and they showed us around, and we had like a dozen or more Spotty Herberts, plus the bloke showing us around, and some all standing inside the bomb bay. Bomb bay doors closed. We're all just wandering around inside the bomb bay. I'm pretty sure if we'd have bought some stumps, we probably could have had a net of cricket. It was huge. I mean, huge. Clambering up to the pilot seat, it's a Mont Blanc-like experience. Such a huge piece of kit. And to think it was flown with a fighter stick. It's just like, wow. But then, you know, famously, Rowley Falk used to display the thing like a fighter at Farnborough back in the days, and he just gets told off for rolling, doing a takeoff and then barrel rolling in a bomber. It's not the done thing to barrel roll bombers. We leave that to the fighters, so he didn't barrel roll it. Adam, thank you. Alan Pollock, I should know that. Sean Pollock, fast bowler for South Africa, I should know the name. Yeah, so he was told off for barrel rolling, so on one of the next days he kind of did a loop. Didn't actually do a complete loop. He did the first half of the loop, then rolled off the top and came back in a dive. I mean, in a bomber. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. Adam, how many kits do I have in my stash? Well, it's not much of a stash. It's about 30, I think. About 30. Of various kinds. There's a lot of mostly planes. There are now, there's some armour, there's some vehicles, there's a couple of diorama sets, lots of aeroplanes. There's a ship. There are some figures as well to do. Some weird stuff. So about 30 kits altogether. Yeah, quite a lot. Play football in the Galaxy. Yeah, well that is just an insanely big piece of kit. I remember seeing the Vulcan. Not I can't remember how many years ago it was. It was at Dunsfold in Surrey on their air show. It was the year that that Canadian Lancaster came over, and they did a tour around the UK of the two Lancasters flying together. Now, if you imagine that with Just Jane as well, when that's airworthy, having three Lancasters and a loose Vic flying over, that would just be outrageous. Yes, I have, Richard. I have seen it. There's a very good. Don't know if it's the same guy. There's a program about Bob Hooper on not long ago. Robert Hooper, who's an American test pilot, and he did a thing where he was saying that the plane in a barrel roll, the plane is still pulling 1G constantly. The thing to do is, as you're going around, you're still pulling the aircraft into the roll, so still generating 1G. And to prove it, he did a barrel roll holding a coffee pot, so flying it with one hand, coffee pot, and poured coffee during the barrel roll to prove that it's a constant 1G. The guy was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Hobby Time 2014, thank you very much. That's the last time I saw a Vulcan flying, 2014, and it flew in formation with 3 Folland gnats as well. It was beautiful. Oh dear. There's some amazing. Yeah, I miss going to air shows. I used to go to air shows a lot, especially with my dad. We used to go to a lot of air shows around the country, and here, there, and everywhere. And I kind of stopped going because of stuff, and I miss them actually. So I did go to a couple not that long ago. I went to a 2019, I think. I've been to a couple of Shuttleworth days. 2019 again, I think, was the last one of those. I went to the 2018 Navy Centenary at Shuttleworth, for example. They're quite nice because you're actually really quite close to the planes, and the way that the airfield is it really they do a lot of sort of wing turns coming over, and you get a really good view of them. I think anyway. MiG 29 jet. That MiG 29 has, tell you what, some proper smoky engines. Absolutely properly smoky engines. My goodness, I've actually finished step 5. I've finished. Ladies and gentlemen, I've finished. It's only taken me 2 months. The first page of instructions. My goodness. I feel so achieved. I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank my parents. Yeah. Real smoky Joe, MiG-29. But then I guess in those days they didn't really care very much of it. Which is odd because, you know, big plumes of smoke behind your plane is a bit of a giveaway in dogfighting. Well, here I am. Yeah, there we go. Oh dear. What is all this now? What have I got to do? Okay, so that sits there. Right. Oh, I see, that goes on the top. Okay, that's the bottom. Right. What else? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can barrel roll a 747 if you've got enough air. It won't, because actually barrel rolling isn't that terrible a thing in terms of stress. Because as I say, essentially you just pull 1G all the way around. If you're a good pilot, you should be able to pull 1G constantly. That's all barrel rolling actually is. So a lot of planes will do it. The stresses aren't that bad. The recovery isn't bad. So I think a lot of planes will barrel roll, even really big ones. It's just that sometimes they take a lot of air, a lot of altitude to do it. But you know, Adam, have I ever built a bolt and pull Defiant? No, I haven't. I'm thinking about it for my next. Well, certainly it's one of the options. If not, just go ahead and do it. Anyway, for my next flying hours buy, and maybe the 148th one, maybe, or maybe I'll do that. But I'd like to because you know they do well. These 148th single engine fighters from World War II, twin engine bombers, and 4 engine bombers in 172nd all do really well on the channel. Yeah, David, it will be a vintage. Yes, I know. Thank you. It will. I'm already a vintage classic, David, but yes, I'm sure it will. Paul, there's a 747 roll video on YouTube. Yeah, as I say, it's not impossible by any means. You know, there's pretty much anything with enough air can be rolled. Pretty sure Concorde could be rolled. In fact, pretty sure. Well, I'm not pretty sure. I suspect someone actually maybe did. The Trump's Defiant is better. Okay. That's worth knowing. I like a Defiant. It's one of those quirky little planes that, you know, there's a lot of planes. Your Spitfires and Hurricanes and all that get all of the glory in the Lancasters, obviously. And you don't want to take anything away from the guys who flew those things, but you know, sometimes you look at a plane, you look at the kit of a plane, and maybe you look at the history of it, and you think, do you know what? These young people actually stepped into those and went to war in them. I wouldn't step in one if it was being towed to a hangar, let alone actually expect to sit in one with an engine running, get off the ground, go and fight for my life, try and get back, try and land, and do that day after day after day. Is just astonishing. Some of the junk that, you know, we were talking about the skewer earlier on. An outstanding dive bomber. It could have been one of the best dive bombers of the war, had the Navy not said, oh, by the way, it's also got to be a fighter. By the time it reached, it was going to Norway in 1940, when, during the phony war, as they called it, because there wasn't much going on in terms of major conflict in France, and it was kind of, they'd been invaded. There's kind of like a settling down period with both sides sort of trying to figure out what was going on, and we were desperately trying to produce enough stuff to be able to survive. The days just before the Battle of Britain, the Navy were flying skewers from northern Scotland to Norway and doing bombing attacks. They sank a cruiser, the Königsberg. They attacked the Scharnhorst with horrific losses. In a plane that was almost obsolete. I mean, the swordfish. It's quite astonishing that the swordfish was still in use, but people, they got into them, they flew them, and the bravery of these people is quite astonishing. To be given a shiny new top of the range thing, and off you go in that, you think, well, yeah, I've actually got a bit of a chance. But to turn up at a fighter station and be given some of this stuff, I'm sorry, that you want me to fly that? Okay, what, to a museum? Oh, no, you want me to fly against the Germans? Okay, I signed on the line, and off they go. Oh, amazing, absolutely amazing. Does anyone kit manufacturer make a ferry Firefly? Bobby, I'm sure they do. It depends on the scale. I've got a special hobby 1/48th one in the stash. It's a Mark 1. They do a Mark 1, and they do a Mark 5, the later one, both from the Korean conflict. I know for sure. I've not built one. I need to build one. I've got one here, and I will build that at some point. Again, at some point. But yeah, Firefly, lovely plane, actually, really nice plane. My father's CO on 800 Squadron was killed by a Firefly. He was at 800 Squadron were flying the C-547 at the time, and they're on HMS Triumph. A Firefly from 827 Squadron, the other squadron on Triumph, crash landed, and the propeller shattered, and a fragment of the propeller flew up into the flying bridge and hit Lieutenant Commander McLachlan, and he died of his wounds. Terrible, terrible accident. So, yeah, my dad remembers the Firefly with maybe not quite as much adoration as a lot of people do. Yes, the swordfish did indeed hit the Bismarck and disabled the rudder and allowed the battle fleet to come and catch up with it and finish it off. I mean, they were insanely brave people. Good tip about the toothpaste, guys. Is that going to be like plain toothpaste, or can you use anything? I'm guessing some of these fancy multicoloured ones may be not a great idea, but is it just plain toothpaste, or is there a particular brand that's good? Let me know. Okay, yeah, sort of last weekend. Lovely. Yeah, there's a C-517 that's back in the air as well, which was the first plane my dad knew when he went to sea. 800 were flying the C-517 at the time. They had the 15, then the 17, and then the 47 they went on to. Yeah. Okay, Simon. Good to have you on, my friend. Great chatting with you. Don't forget, first Thursday of every month, I'll be here. Am I going to be doing a group build? Do you know, Richard, I have been thinking about this. Yes, I will. I will do a group build. I was thinking of, because the Vintage Classics have been doing so nicely, and apart from one or two kits, they've been having really good remarks. I thought maybe we should do a group build of kits that the moulds for which are at least 50 years old. What do you reckon? I think it could be quite a laugh. Bugler 75, yeah, you're going to bed as well. Oh, going to Normandy, very nice. Enjoy the cider, enjoy the brie, and enjoy the history. And go if you haven't, go to the Bayeux Tapestry as well. One of the most awe-inspiringly beautiful things in the world. Go and have some fun there. Have a great time in Normandy, my friend. Yeah. It's difficult, you know, Adam, it's difficult to say the best model brand is in general, because, do you know, some brands are, they're very good at one or two things, and other brands are quite good at a lot of things. I mean, you know, I like airfix because because they're really good to me, and B, because it's what I grew up with, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things going for them. They don't make necessarily technically the best kits all the time. In fact, a few of them have been pretty awful. But then they've got quite a wide gamut of builds, quite a wide range of builds, and quite an interesting kind of, you know, they don't just stick to one thing, whereas some companies tend to stick to one thing but do it exceptionally well. I don't know. It's difficult. What do you guys think? What do you think? You know, do you have a favourite? And you think, oh yeah, if these guys do it, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be really good. Or, you know, do you think everyone has the good things, and some people, you know, there's good and bad in everyone, as someone once said. Was it Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson? Ebony and ivory. There's good and bad in everyone. Richard, okay. I just need to know how to go about it. I guess we do it through the. I don't know if we could do it online, like this, through a chat. Whether we do it on Facebook, do a group build on Facebook. Whether we do it just any old way. And let me ask a few people around who I know have organised these things and see what might be a good way to work it. I mean, it might be good to do it through the Facebook group, or might be good just to. If people don't really want to do, I know a lot of people aren't really comfortable with doing Facebook. Maybe we could do it through the channel. So on Monday Matters, we have a catch up of this week's news from the group build. So maybe spend a month or a month, say, of the group build, and then have a special video just on the results, you know, the group build. Maybe then have a vote for a prize. How about that? Maybe we'll have a prize, and we'll choose like the top three. Me and maybe a couple of other trusted Confederates can pick the top three, and then we have a community vote on to find the best, and then we'll some sort of prize for the winning. What do you reckon? Let me know what you think. I'm really keen to do it. I'm really keen to do anything that increases like the sort of sense of community, really, because not only do I hardly ever build anything, that's all evening. You know, it's the whole thing is a bit of community. It can be a bit can be. I was going to say it's not a lonely experience doing these things, but you know, most people's experience of building stuff is actually quite solitary, because we each build things on our own, generally speaking. But to share stuff and to share a theme, I think is brilliant. You know, I did the 48-hour group build with James Skiffins and Model Officers Mess back in March, and I really enjoyed that. But that was loads of live stuff on video, because it was also a fundraiser, massive fundraiser. But yeah, I'll look into that. Richard, I will look into that and have thought maybe when I'm away on holiday, I'll just email a few people, get some ideas. If you've got ideas about any of this, drop comments into this, drop comments here. My email is in the homepage as a link to my email address. You can send me stuff through that as well. Leave comments in the community pages, if you like. Okay. Okay, Richard, yeah, do it through the channel and have an email address for Gary Matters where we can send pics. Yeah, we could do that. We could just do it through the community pages. Even post stuff in. I can post up stuff in the community pages when it comes through as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. We can do that. There's going to be a way we can do it. We don't have to do it through Facebook. As I say, I know a lot of people are wary of Facebook, and a lot of people just don't do that sort of social media. Don't do social media at all. But you know, we'll figure out a way. Paul, thanks so much for joining in, Paul. Really like it. Good to see you, mate. Sure, only 75 likes. Well, do you know what? Likes aren't everything. They count, but they're not everything. And as long as people have a good time, that's what matters to me. You know, it's half-term week. Lovely sunshine here in the UK, probably in a lot of other places. You know? Yeah, I could have. You know, I will be thinking of doing something a bit more interactive as well. I need to do some software research and do some interactive stuff and do some chats, some live chats as well. Yeah, there'd be a panel of people to look at the builds, but let's have a look at that. It's Richard. So the kit has to be produced in February. No. It has the kit. The mould for the kit has to originate 50 years ago. So since 1973. No, so before 1973. Okay. Okay, Kenneth. Cool. Excellent. See you soon, Jake. Thanks for coming. So yeah, Richard. So anything sort of 1973 and before, or before 1973, and we'll go with what Scalemates say. So remember, some kits may have been released in the 80s or 90s, but they're using moulds that were still, made in 1968 or whatever. And I reckon that could be cool. I reckon that could be quite fun. Some people could be quite inventive about getting away around the rules. So, Sean, I'm glad you have a good time. That's yeah. Of course, I take the time. And it's fun. It's fun. Good night, Adam. Really good of you to turn up. Thank you so much for joining in with everything, and thank all of you. I really do appreciate it. It's a Thursday night. There's probably other things you could be doing other than listening to me rant and rave and jabber about. But you know what? I like it. I really enjoy your feedback. Please, if you ever think of of mentioning something or suggesting something, think, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Please do let me know what you think, because you know what, you could maybe just pick up on an idea that'd be brilliant. Jaws, yeah, we are live, mate. It says live stream on the 6th of April due to a technical error at the beginning of the thing, which meant the live stream didn't go live when it should have done. And then I had to work around it by doing it as a live thing rather than a programmed stream. And it just picked up the default front page, which was the first thing I put up on 6th of April. Probably the best thing for me to do is put up a different thing that's not dated, just in case it happens again. But yeah, you are live. I'm live. We're all live. yeah, 50s kits would be expensive. Also, 50s kits, you know, there's going to be some limits, and there's going to be some issues probably with various things. So I don't know. Do you know what? I'm really close to doing something great here. So he says, with all due modesty, I'm actually close to actually finishing a major part of this kit I've been working on since May the 4th. Okay. Yeah, group build, that'd be fun. Figure out what surprise would be good. Maybe have a chat with a few people and see what we might be able to come up with for that. Yeah, if you've got an idea, what would be a good prize? Would a kit be a good prize? You know, I don't know, a vintage classics kit, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, well, do you know what? It's thanks. I'm glad you like the stream. Yes, I'm working very slowly. Very slowly. I get very easily distracted. I'm a bear of very little brain. I get very distracted. But you know, I'm not going to sort of sneakily go and do stuff on this, but I'm actually going to keep it going on here, and only build it on here. I like the idea of the toothpaste for it's a polishing compound. That could be quite useful for people because I was the new 1/24th Spitfire, you know, the fancy Airfix 1/24th Spitfire, that comes with two options on a canopy. One is more accurate than the other, but it needed a slide mould which leaves a mould line on it, so there's a mould line through the crest of the canopy. It's really fine, but you need to get rid of it or use the slightly less accurate other one that doesn't need it. So that's cool, good enough. Okay, you wouldn't need a prize. Oh, that's nice. Maybe a little trophy or something, just a fun little something. A fun little something. Got to be like recognised somehow. I'll figure out something. Maybe something ironic and a laugh, but something, because I think it'll be good. Okay, so that sounds like that's something for me to actually really work on. A group build, that'd be fantastic fun. It would be interesting also about what kits turn up. It would be really interesting to see what other brands got. Obviously, Airfix got vintage classics, but you know, Paul, one of my builds. Wow, that's very generous of you to say so, but I'm not sure that my builds are all that good. But that's very kind of you. Very kind. That sort of thing can be arranged very easily. Yeah, Adam, how I used to build them is not how I build them now. Do I remember when I was at school, I used to do a lot of modelling, obviously, when I was in my teens. And I remember a mate of mine getting an airbrush, and we'd never seen one of these things before. You know, it's just like this amazing thing where you know, you spray paint on and the masking fluid and stuff like that. It's like it's real. Oh my goodness! I know it wasn't like it was a new technology, for goodness sakes, obviously, but it was just like in our little group. No one had ever seen one of these things before. It was amazing, and now I just wouldn't dream of not using it where I can. You know. Julian, oh hi. Um, the kit, as I've yeah, the kit is the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. I started on March the 4th, May the 4th, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. It's only last time out. I thought it's no, it's two. It's only yeah, it's only recently. Yeah. So there we go. Um, Heading up to 10 o'clock. I mean, I don't mind going for a few extra minutes, guys, if you still want to chat and mention something, but I know a lot of you have got ultra busy lives, and I don't want to be in trouble for diverting you when you should be doing something else. Okay, I'm going to clamp that. So the camera's going to move because I have to reach over it to get my clamp. Oh, yeah. Clamp that in place. Wow. Actually almost have, yeah, Darth Vader's in there. Woo! There we go. I've made some real progress this time. There we go. Compressor recommendations. I use one by a company called TimberTech. It's about £60–70, something like that. Works really well. If you want to see a review of that, check out Barbados Rex. His video on that's very good. I will be in a few months' time. Gallery, who do the airbrush that I've got, who I did the review of, and who have got another couple of airbrushes that I need to review, they are setting up a UK and Europe store on Amazon. Currently you have to buy everything from the USA. Obviously that means things like compressors you really can't buy because the shipping would be crazy. But if they have a store set up here, it means they're warehoused over here, so then they can go through the Prime system if you're a Prime member and so on and so forth. That should be up within about 2 to 3 months. That should be up in there. After which, hoping they will send me some compressors to try as well. So, yeah, TimberTech is one I use. It seems very reliable. I've had it for 2.5–3 years now, and it's still running. Still keeps the pressure going. A tank is a good idea. Even so, the Airstream, yeah, yes, it does, but it also depends on the design of the compressor. The thing is, with like on the TimberTech I use, say if I'm using a 20 psi stream, or 20 psi stream, I set the dial to 22 because I know that when it's actually running, it loses 2 psi. So if I want a 20 psi stream, I set the dial, set it to 22, and it actually operates. It drops down to 20, and but it stays at 20 really nicely. Doesn't flicker at all. But yeah, one with the tank does even it out even more, to be fair. And if you set 20 psi on it on one with the reservoir tank, then 20 psi is what you're going to get. Okay, airfix is sterling is what is 1973. Yeah, well there you go. That would be a yeah. If we say 50 or years or older, then that would qualify. I've did the Italeri sterling. That's a great kit. My goodness, that's a lovely kit. The undercarriage is a nightmare, but then it was huge, complex. There we go. Okay, Adam found it. Yeah, excellent, fantastic, absolutely fantastic, cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And some people still Yeah, someone was asking on the channel earlier today about airbrushes, and because they want to do the camouflage on a ME262 kit or something like that, and I said, just check out on YouTube as well, because there's people out there who are doing remarkable work. I mean, truly remarkable work with brushes still, and or hairy sticks as they like to call them, and it's astonishing the effects they can get. And there's some great tutorials on how to get these sort of stippled effects and stuff. So never rule out a brush. Never rule out a brush. And nostalgia is a very good reason to build a kit. Obviously, you're absolutely right. It is absolutely right. It is. Well, look, guys. It's 6 minutes past 10 by my watch. I know I was late getting everything up and running today, and I do apologise for that. I will have the IT sorted out by the next time we meet up, which will be the first Thursday in July, which will be 6th of July, I reckon. 6th of July, I reckon. Chris, good to see you too, my friend. Thanks for coming on. Obviously, I'll trade it on Monday Matters and things like that. But thank you all so very, very much for tuning in. Thanks for all your comments. Do keep ideas coming in about how we want to manage the group build. I'll put something up, not this Monday Matters, but a Monday Matters in a little while. And then we'll figure out a time scale, and maybe over a month and whatever, and how we're going to go and do it. And that'll be a lot of fun, actually. That'll be cool to see your creativity. Yeah, keep watching the channel. Do come back tomorrow. There's going to be an interesting build video tomorrow that's been much asked after. We'll be finally here. Then obviously there's Monday Matters on Monday, and then kit of the week next week, which I actually need to go and finish. So thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in. Do keep coming back. Thank you all for your support as well over the time with the channel, and have fun with your model building. Good night, everyone. Thanks so much for coming, and I will see you on the channel again very, very soon. Good night, guys.